Okay. This is getting absolutely absurd now. Two influential commentators in the sports world are now saying, I'm not going to say the Redskins' name when I do their games anymore. Phil Simms, who I like Phil Simms. I don't have anything against him.
I'm not a Phil Simms guy, really. I mean, and first of all, as an Eagles fan, he tortured me throughout his career. So I've never found him to be a fantastic announcer, though. He's
not fabulous, but he's okay. I've not found him to be okay.
And this solidifies that I was correct in not liking him from back in his years.
My very first thought is, he said this. I'm quoting now. My very first thought is, it has to be read like this when you're talking about doing this.
Yes, it's this stupid. It deserves the voice treatment.
It does.
Uh-huh.
My very first thought is it will be Washington the whole game, not Redskins.
Because he's the color guy on
he's the
a Redskins game. I think it's the fourth game of the year.
Yeah, Jim Nantz and Phil Simms will do the game coming up in September. I'm not sure what the date is.
I thought I read it was the fourth game of the season. I could be wrong on that, but it's pretty early on.
Jim Nantz, who does play-by-play, said, it's not my job to take a stance. Good for you, Jim. Thank you.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you, Jim. That's correct.
Not your job. It's your job to report what is going on.
That's exactly right.
Which is the Washington Redskins playing a football game.
Yes. Okay, the game is on September 25th. So at such time that it becomes against the law to use the name Redskins, maybe you don't say the name Redskins.
Yeah.
Or at such time as they change the name from Redskins, maybe then you don't say it. But this is ridiculous. At least look up the history involved here. And don't just accept at face value, well, somebody said they're offended, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. Isn't it a borderline fireable offense to tell your employer you're not going to say the words you're required to say because you have a political stance?
I would think, except I'm sure that CBS loves it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
I'm sure
and I know they're not going to fire him over it. But I mean, when you're a reporter, what if you had a reporter and you were down in there and Michael Brown and you're covering the Ferguson thing and you say, I'm just not going to say the words Michael Brown. I'm just going to say the teen. It's like, wait, what are you talking about? Michael Brown's the person you're talking about. I'm going to say the teen. It's odd. It's odd, especially if you're going to take for a political stance, or if you were saying you thought the police were wrong in this case, and you said I'm not going to call them the police. I'm going to call them the oppressors. It's like, wait a minute, that's taking a stance in the middle of coverage. That's not what you're supposed to do as a person. Covering a game. Now, to Sims's defense, I mean, he is the color commentator. He's the guy who's kind of brought in to maybe put a little of opinion of what he thinks is going on in the game. He's not the play-by-play guy. So I honestly don't have much of I don't care, but it's just silly. Especially when you know the history, and we've been over it 100 times. It is not a racist term. It was not formed that way. It was the first usage of the term was by Native Americans. The team itself did it to honor Native Americans on its own team and its own coach. It is not the term Redskins is not used today as a derogatory term towards Native Americans. It is typically used as the name of a football team. That's pretty much the only use of it now. If anything else, it's an honorable term towards Native Americans. And while we might all now try to apply a negative usage to it, that is not what it was formed as, and it is not what it was used by the team.
And sadly, Tony Dungy is participating in this as well.
Yeah, a lot of people speculating this is
it's too bad.
This is him now trying to move himself after getting in trouble over the Michael Sam thing. He just was in a controversial topic.
So now he's going to be politically correct.
Way. Now he's got to lean the right way in this story.
Yeah. He said, I will personally try not to use Redskins and refer to them as Washington. Personal opinion for me, not the network. As for CBS, they're saying they're allowing their announcers to decide on their own whether to call the team the Redskins. So is Fox, which handles the NFC, and so they're the network that will broadcast most of the Redskins games when they're broadcast. It's ridiculous. Fortunately, you have some, like Boomer Esiason, who said, that's the name of their team, and that's what the name I'm going to use.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Boomer.
Isn't it amazing that a man saying that he's going to use the actual team name is a proud and strong moment. Mm-hmm. We are at a point where free speech doesn't allow you to comfortably say the name of a team.
It's so stupid.
Where the hell are we in this country?
Stupid. Why? I mean, is somebody eventually going to be offended by the name Cowboys? We're in Dallas. Maybe. What about Cowgirls? Cowboys is kind of an old phrase. Maybe it's offensive to cows.
Yeah.
Or boys.
Right.
I mean,
well, you got to believe.
Giants, there's the gigantism. Isn't that an actual thing? There's gigantism.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Actual thing.
Maybe giants. People with gigantism, like Andre the Giant had that.
He died.
That's why he died early.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's offended by the Giants. Maybe we shouldn't say that.
Certainly. Indians in Cleveland would be an offensive.
Oh, jeez.
Once they get past Redskins, there's 20 other options to go.
Start down this road. Look, you could not say the name Washington because that's the name of a slave owner. So I'm not going to say the name of the city either.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the team from the area on the Potomac River.
That's true.
It's our nation's capital. Our nation's capital's at the 40-yard line. It's 3rd down and 2 for our nation's capital team. What? I mean, you can get so ridiculous with this stuff.
Oh, yeah. And they will. And this is the thing. Daniel Snyder, who has been criticized heavily for the way he's run his team and businesses over the years, I've never really bought into that because, he's gone out and he's always spent the money. And sometimes, you make choices and the things don't work out and you go after free agent players and it doesn't work out. I don't know. I think he's been hit with a lot of unfair criticism over the years. But this is his case where he seems to be still seems to still have a very strong spine on this issue. And everyone inside the organization
really strong
says, you know what? No way. Well, he is not moving on this.
And that blows me away because last night during the game, I was only half listening because it was either coming in or out of a commercial break, but they were talking about the senators, the number of senators, and they were showing Daniel Snyder in the stands and talking about the number of senators that have come out against him and the Redskins name. Isn't it 28 or 30 or something
like
now?
That, yeah.
I mean, it's a bunch of U.S. senators who are demanding that he change the name from Redskins to something else.
We talked to his attorney.
It's a lot of pressure
and he
he's standing
said,
up to.
There is absolutely no way while he's alive that name will change.
That's
that's impressive. But what's impressive about this even more is not only does he have to deal with this all the time, as soon as this one's done, the floodgates open to every other team name.